Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to special bonus coverage here on the Gospel Truth Channel. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower. And again, we're here with Divine. I am divine. I am sovereign. I am free. But we're here with special bonus coverage. Scheduling live at 11 a.m., 6 p.m., and 11 p.m. And I said yesterday that I'd be on with Jay Campbell today at 7 p.m. Eastern. That will actually be tomorrow. He wanted another day to promote the appearance, and I got to like that. And I'm really appreciating getting to know Jay Campbell. I think he's a deep guy. I know he talks a lot about, health and fitness and things like that, but there's a lot more to him than just the health and fitness. And I certainly don't want to say just health and fitness, because I'm getting back into finally health and fitness. You know, I had a pretty significant injury playing hockey, and I don't know if you guys really care about any of this, and allowed myself to get out of shape. When you're playing hockey 3 or 4 nights a week, 2 games, and you're a goalie, you listen. I'm looking at people listening to you again. You shed a lot. You use a lot of calories, so you eat a lot of calories, and then guess what? When you're not playing hockey, you're not using those calories, they stick somewhere. It's like the Earth. Your equator gets expanded. You become an oblate spheroid. So you can see now I'm back at the beach. I'm working out. I'm doing some Tai Chi. I'm doing my sprints. I'm not much of a T.A. Stingblad. Let's divagate. Let's digress a minute. He says wear protection. Here's another bit of I was a goalie, so I don't get into the rough stuff. I just have pucks flying at me 100 miles an hour in the leagues I play in, an average of about 40 times every 45 minutes. Well, 12 every 40 minutes. So, and I wear a mask, so that's why my teeth are still beautiful. But anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, sunblock causes more cancer than the sun. That's my radical statement for the day. Me too, Don. Sunblock causes more cancer than sun. That's just me. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, this will be a rather short broadcast. I got some phone calls to make. I got some stuff to do. And guess what? Thank you to those of you that have, what have you heard before, Sandra? The sunscreen thing? If this camera would turn around, I'd show you the box came, the chair came, the new chair. The new chair came. So by the time we have a next show at 6, I will be in the new chair, and it's fancy. Thank you for your support that enabled me to get a new microphone, a new chair. That new table I actually picked up on the side of the road. My mom has a slight issue with keeping too many things. She made me pull over and pick up something for her, and I'm like, that's pretty nice. So it's a nice little, like a TV table. But anyway, we're talking about, if I put anything on, I'm out there to do my sprints, and then I do my, hey, Johnny, I really appreciate your encouragement. I do my sprints, and I get some, get a little bit of sun, maybe half hour on one side, flip me over to the other side. Water's getting a little cold for a Florida boy, so I don't do as much of the water, although that water's so good for you. So good for you. But anyway, we want to talk about Merlin and Davey, who will be on tomorrow. And I'm still trying to quit talking like a preacher. And I'm going to talk about something probably at 6 o'clock. I've got 2 really good ones that I got last night, I guess while I was sleeping. We're going to talk about blessing them who curse you and why. And we're going to give you a primer on programming. Not so much that you can do it, but that you can respond to it, recognize it, and respond to it. Spartan Gaming, obviously a very, very intelligent woman, because she agrees with me a lot. Sunblock causes more cancer. There's a YouTube channel dedicated to that fact. Wow. That is very, very interesting. And, you know, we're going to talk about this on Blessing Them That Curse You, but I don't know, you know, ever since we started the idea of we're going to try to take our dominion back, our divinity, our sovereignty, our freedom back, I've really been under a lot more. I feel I'm never under attack, and I'm not under attack now, but I just feel like there's more pressure. And, you know, a lot of people, they have trouble. They can't sleep. I have the opposite trouble. When I'm under pressure or stress, I sleep more, and I don't like that. So I got to get back to my 5 hours a day because there's just too much to do. But look forward to that. And if you're feeling pressure, I was talking with Jay, and he's feeling pressure. He's having trouble sleeping, and I'm like, brother, I got the opposite problem, but it's the same problem, just an opposite manifestation. So good stuff. Jay Campbell is who I'm talking about. Very good stuff. And we are ready to rock and roll. I like what Gary says. If you want sunblock, go inside. If you want sunblock, go inside. There you go. And when we talk about a primer on programming, programming's not all bad if it's used in with the right motivation, but we'll get to that at that time. So let's talk about Merlin. Let's talk about Merlin. And this is a subject that I like. I've always been into this kind of stuff. Merlin, of course, you know what, let's start somewhere else. Let's start, you know, this is what we wanted to go to, this article from the Telegraph in the UK, but let's just start at the basics. MegaCon, Tampa Bay. Captain Kirk was there. I almost went, but didn't want to go by myself. I know that's kind of lame, but didn't want to go by myself. Let's just look at some basics about Merlin. Merlin, or Myrddin, a legendary figure known as the wizard in the Arthurian legend and medieval Welsh poetry. His standard depiction first appears in Geoffrey of Monmouth's, and I used to live in Monmouth, Oregon. How interesting is that? Historia Regum Britanniae is based on the amalgamation of previous historical and legendary figures. Geoffrey combined existing stories of Myrddin Wilt or Merlinus Caledoniensis with a guy with no connection to King Arthur, with tales of the Romano-British war leader Ambrosius Aurelianus, to form the composite figure he called Merlin Ambrosius. So that's interesting. He kind of clued you off that he was combining them together because he combined even the names of the two prototypical figures. But anyway, his rendering was very popular, especially in Wales. He has supernatural powers, born of a woman and an incubus. There we go back to spirits having sex with people. We know that doesn't really happen, as far as sometimes you may think it happens in the spiritual realm, but it doesn't ever happen in a way that actually fertilizes and produces offspring. I know what Lazy Marzulli, L.A. La Cucaracha, with his watchers, and what all of the people in the Bible with the UFO, ET, alien imagery, that Yahweh, oops, I got to start that jar, don't I? He was an ET, and he got Mary pregnant, raped her, got her pregnant, and boom, here comes little baby bouncing Jesus. Not true. But anyway, that just gives you some of the background of the legend of Merlin. Now let's look about this new book, which had Davey very excited, and Davey will be on tomorrow night for the first Allow Me to Introduce You To. We're going to feature new YouTubers that I think are worthy of featuring. There's really no other way to put it. And well, what's the qualifications? Just whatever I think, whatever moves me. And I know that bothers some of you, but that's okay. All right. So Merlin the magician, the hirsute confidant. You know what we got to do? How many of you know what hirsute means? Well, guess what? We're going to clear that word. What does hirsute mean? Because I don't want you to have up to 60%. of your cognition gone. It means, let's go to Merriam-Webster. It means covered with coarse, stiff hairs. So, of course, they're talking about the fact that he had that big long hair, that big long beard. See, that's very hirsute. So, anyway, he was a confidant of King Arthur and the architect of Camelot. Merlin the magician, hairy confidant of King Arthur and architect of Camelot, was in fact Scottish, according to a new book. And as we all know, there can be only one. Not only Scottish, but to be precise, hailing from Artery Street, just off the Dumbarton Road in the Patrick area of Glasgow. Should we do it? Why not? Artery Street, Glasgow. I know. I chase these rabbit trails sometimes, and this thing is bothering me. Maps. Where was he from? Artery Street, Glasgow, Scotland. Artery Street, Glasgow, Scotland, UK. Bam. Are we looking at the home street of Merlin, the magician? Oh, are you ready for some good conspiracy stuff? Look what's right on Artery Street, folks. Artery Street Masonic Halls. Woo, how about that? Artery Street Masonic Halls. Isn't that interesting? Wow. Isn't that interesting? I really like that. That's pretty cool stuff. So is this the very street from which Merlin, the magician, the wizard, hails from? So anyway, while the English, Welsh, and even the French have laid claim to the wizard with the peaked hat, which is conspicuously absent here, for centuries, this is the first time anyone has tried to shift Camelot north of the border. Adam Ardrey, did you notice anything there? Adam Ardrey, remember? Ardrey Street. But it's a different spelling, so scratch that. Oh, that conspiracy theorist, apostate, blasphemer mind just won't stop. The one-time candidate for a political office claims that in his 6 years of research, he's proven, which is a strong word, that Merlin was born in 540 in the Lanarkshire town of Hamilton and moved into a house that was then open countryside, but later was to become the original home of Patrick Thistle. 15 years after McMerlin's birth, Bill Connolly, a little Merlin-esque in appearance, grew up in the same area. Let's pull out and see what that looks like. Let's just go out the other way, Jeff. It's funny because I use the PC and the Mac, and the in and out is opposite on them. So those of you that have used one understand what I'm talking about. So, wow. Could this be where Merlin was from? Glasgow, Scotland. Very, very interesting stuff. Anyway, back to it. Ardrey, the author of Finding Merlin, The Truth Behind the Legend, maintains that Christian historians have concealed the truth of Merlin's Scottish roots. Come on now. Christian historians wouldn't conceal anything. Christians aren't in the business of concealing things, are they? Nah, come on now. Come on now. They concealed the truth of Merlin's Scottish roots, and he reckons that Arthur was not a Sassenach, but a Scottish warlord. You know I'm going to do it because you don't know what a Sassenach is. Even if you do watch Outlander, you don't know what a Sassenach is, but you're about to find out what a Sassenach is. And it's actually a fascinating little word. What is a Sassenach? A Sassenach is an English person. And specifically, it's what the Scots used to refer to the English that were up in Scotland. Usually, raping their women, raping their cattle and stealing their women, as they did to the Irish. It's a little joke. He accepts, though, that anyone who claims to study the Arthurian legends must be ready to be frowned upon in academic circles. And we'd never want to be frowned on in academic circles. Merlin was the son of a Scottish chief called Morkan. Says he wasn't a wizard, but a scholar, or Morkan wasn't a wizard, but a scholar and a politician with a wife named Gwendolen. Merlin was assassinated on his way to some other place and was buried at Drummelzire in the Borders. Arthur, according to Ardrey's research, was a Scottish warlord in 559. That's very, very interesting. He was a Scottish warlord in 559. One of his most famous battles was fought at Loch Lomondide. In the movies, he's portrayed as an English king when he's far from it. He made his reputation fighting against the English. When I found the evidence, I couldn't leave it alone. You know what? This rings more true to me that he would be a warrior, a fighter, and not a Sassenach. That just rings true to me. I don't know how it rings to you, but I think it rings true to me what this guy is saying, at least in comparison to the classic tales that we have about Merlin. And I want to take one final look at the map and see where this fellow thinks that Merlin, may be buried. At this village in Scotland. That's where he thinks Merlin is buried. That's fascinating stuff. Been to the UK, been over England quite a bit, didn't get to go to Scotland, didn't get to go to Ireland. That's something that I'm going to do, want to do, have to do some way, somehow. Is that where the body of Merlin, the Scottish warlord and wizard, is buried? Got to go to Inverness. Got to go to Ireland. And while we're here, somebody said to me, they sent me a nasty gram. You're from the O'Dochertys. And the O'Dochertys are terrible, terrible people. That their name means the destroyer. He's exactly right. Their name does mean the destroyer. Their name does mean the destroyer. We are the destroyers. We're the only clan that was never conquered. Probably because we lived out here on this craggy, wet, cold, windy rock that nobody wanted, but still, there we go. And Isle of Man, home of David Icke. So there you go. Merlin, a Scottish warlord. Merlin, a Scot in all likelihood. Rings true to me. And if it rings true to Davy, who is a Scot, then I like it. I heard he was John D. Now that is interesting. I got to write that down. John D. of Enochian lore. John D. and Merlin. Let's see what I come up with on that. Princess Diana said that she would be William's Merlin. I'm not sure what that means. Did you get my email? Yeah. It's magic. Oh, ho, ho, ho. It's magic, you know. That's too high for me. Hockey is a tough sport. Might want to Google. Yeah, I'll do that. Congrats on the chair. Thank you, Sandra. What's up, Jeff? All is good. Sunblock. We got to get past the sunblock. We got to get past the triggers. Medieval Welsh at UC Berkeley. Yogic Vision. Nice. He's Lazy. He ain't got no alibi. Talking about Marzulli. Are you a semantics man? You are a semantics man. I am a semantics man. Thesaurus. That's my favorite dinosaur. If you look, I think you look like Merlin or a mage with your beard. I liked it. Oh, thank you, Lunar Angel. Thank you very much. I've heard that And I'm probably going to grow it back. But anyway, United Grand Lodge of England was formed in 1717. It looks like Moses. Ooh, that's interesting. Dividing the sea. No, not the Christians. They would never, as Deborah Hickman points out, deceive anyone. Davey says, hello. I emailed the author today, asked for an interview. Davey asked for both of us, brother. I want to talk to him big time. Do I know the difference between the Church of England and the Roman Catholics? Is that a joke, or am I waiting for a punchline? Jeff should have waited till the Mara. I could have pronounced it better. Yeah, I know. Look up Hamilton. Ireland is the seat. I've seen that written on numerous maps. Look for Strathclyde County Park. We'll do that tomorrow, Davey. Yogic Vision says that Merlin prophesied a red dragon. Is that true, Davey? He's real. Ask any Irishman that's still there. Ireland has the most hidden history. I'm on to something about Ireland, Shaina. Of course, that's where I'm from. Davey is from where Merlin grew up, and he now lives where Merlin moved to. So Davey walks the streets, walks the land where Merlin walked. Those streets weren't there, obviously. You look so young without a beard, cutie. Well, thank you. See, that's the battle I have between, do I like the young look or do I want to go with the wizard look? Don't know. My strongest connection with Merlin was in Wales. Interesting. John D's signature was 007. Very interesting. Helen is Cornish. She's traveled to Ireland and Scotland. Will do. I try and set something up. He stays near me, the author, that is. Great. So, Davey, if I ever get to Scotland, we'll have to hang out. I don't know the story about Merlin and a dragon. I'd love to read about that. Love to find out about that. Nice tan. Thank you. I've been at the beach. Lunar Angel says, thumbs up to wizards. I agree. Joyce M says, grow it back. But it is definitely gray, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely gray. No one cares about my beard but me. But anyway, and the mustache part is itchy. So that's way more talk about Jeff's beard than we should ever enter into. All right, any last questions? I've read that Merlin was John the Baptist in one of his past lives. That's interesting. Comment down. Yeah, I would stand out a mile in Glasgow, wouldn't I? I wasn't, and it was these lights too. I've adjusted these lights. They were like super duper bright. So they washed me out a lot too. So I wasn't nearly as white as you thought I was. Keep the people guessing and stay young. It won't last forever. Isn't that true? But of course, if I keep drinking blood and keep being a reptilian shapeshifter, as some have postulated, then I'll be young forever, right? Anyway, that's hilarious. So we are going to have a show at 6 o'clock, and I'll probably have several more today because I've got a lot of good stuff going on in my mind. Tomorrow I'll be on at 7 p.m. Eastern with Jay Campbell. I'm also getting the guy, and I forget his first name, from Overwatch channel. We're going to talk about that. And if you have people that you'd like to hear, like to see, let me know. Not everybody comes on because I'm not, Rex Bear with 150,000 subscribers. We're just, at 8. So we got to get up there. But we still, bring in some good folks. And we're going to do that for certain. And I think we'll be over 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I really do. And then it's off and running. So let's stay tuned the rest of the day, learning about blessing them who curse you. And it's not about them. A primer on programming and some other really cool stuff. Marsden Brooks in the house. Yeah, Marsden is the one that sent me this. I believe, Davey sent me this. Marsden sent me the one about the dragon. And I was, when Moz, I don't know if you heard that, but I saw that. I'm like, I don't know. But then when Mazden sent it to me, I'm like, well, if Mazden thinks it's interesting, then I should probably do it. I've been doing the palm readings. I just haven't been putting them out. I'll start putting them out again. So there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I salute those of you that are here seeking after truth. And we will be back very soon. Of course, we'll be back at 6, which is in less than an hour. And I encourage you to guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, and be your own guru. And the best way to do that is unindoctrinate yourself. And in order to do that, you've got to stay fearless, my friends. Has the world gone crazy, or have you? Decide that and get back to me.